Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, and I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the heart.
Friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another ep of History is Dank, dude. We got Aaron just beasting it on the sticks, dude. What's going on, Aaron?
What up, my dogs?
Dude, exactly, bro. For those listening, Aaron very aptly said, what up, my dogs, because Sonny is back on the pod, dude. He's just chilling right now, being a good little boy, dude. And you'll notice, if you're watching as I pet Sonny's dome, that there's a little extra glimmer coming off my ring finger on my left hand, dude. It's my nuptial hardware, dude. Wearing my wedding band, dude. Fired up on that, dude. Dude, I've been walking around. Old dudes respect it, dude. Old dude's been nodding at me like, yep, got skin in the game, mature, you know. I walk into a bank, they're like, this guy's going to be, reasonable, risk-averse guy, dude. People look at me, this guy goes risk-averse, dude. Little do they know that I skated into that bank, dude. That's right, dude. Freaking sick. Fired up that Sonny's here. Fired up to be freaking married, dude. Fired up on all of this, dude. Even though Sonny freaking boked, dude, came back, dude. We went out of town, got married in Santa Barbara, sick-ass place, dude. Cruised over to a dank little Spanish-style meal, dude, a place called Loquita, which I think colloquially means crazy girl, dude. So my freaking dank-ass wife was fired up on that. She's like, this is good. She's like, this place is named after me. I go, haha, funny joke, Smoocherino, dude. Got to give biggest shout out to everyone involved. The families kept it small, dude, My brother, my older brother was the best man, dude. Crushed his speech, dude. My freaking dank-ass wife's dad crushed his speech. My other brother, my younger brother, officiated. He crushed it, dude. And he said, classic line, dude. He goes, instead of saying like, I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Wilson or whatever, you may kiss the bride. You know how they say that? Mm-hmm. He goes, you may now smoocherino, which I loved, dude, giving a nice little smoocherino. So I was fired up on that, dude. And just dankness all around, dude, So kicking off summer right, dude. Feeling freaking tight, dude. And just very, very amped for today's topic, dude, because we're going to be covering a sexy spy, dude. Espionage is innately sexy to me. I've talked about this many times on the pod. But now, this story has it all, dude. Sex, schmoles, world wars. Sonny just literally gave me a smoocherino when I said that. I said sex, and he looked back and gave me a smoocherino, dude. Dude, just real side quick. Sonny knows when it's time for me and my wife to be intimate, dude. He can sense it, dude. Not only because he can visually see my tiny little wood, dude, but he just knows, dude. He knows that when it gets to a certain part in the movie Troy, which I always watch as part of my foreplay, he knows that when Achilles and his Myrmidons, lions, are going to storm the beaches and the Temple of Apollo, it's time for him to go get his bone. Time for him to go to play because daddy's about to go do work. So just had to share that, dude. So that's why he gave me a little smoocherino probably when I said that, because he does feel left out sometimes, dude. He does feel left out, but he's being a good little boy right now, dude. But we're going to do an episode about someone who maybe was a naughty lady, but honestly, your opinion might be swayed after you listen to all the facts and lack thereof. Hold on, let me put Sonny down real quick. And we're back. So let's get into this. Today we're covering Mata Hari. We'll get into what that means, who that is. Fired up to dive in. But before we do, got to give a huge shout out and a big thanks to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. A few decades ago, private citizens used to be largely that. Private. What's changed? The internet, dude. Everything's out there. We often willingly give away our data, health, whatever it is, personal stuff, relationship, where we are, locations, all that. So If, like me, you believe that your data is your business, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN on the market, expressvpn.com/dank. Get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/dank. Go to expressvpn.com/dank to learn more. Finally, the season of summer travel has arrived. So whether you're heading out on a road trip or rushing through the airport, why not skip the usual stress of travel and chill out with Dadgrass, dude? And don't worry, all their products are TSA approved, dude. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/dank. Go to dadgrass.com/dank for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/dank. I'm fired up on it, dude. So just a little setting, little timeline for you. We're in 1917. We're operating in Europe, World War I, dude. Okay, dude? And Mata Hari, quote unquote, the most renowned woman spy in history. So, sorry, that was nasty, dude. So, she was shot for betraying secrets that were said to have led to the deaths of thousands of soldiers during the First World War. Maybe she was wrongly convicted. Maybe, we don't know. But let's find out. Okay, she's Danish, Dutch, dude. Dutch is Danish, right, dude? No, Danish is like Norwegian. She's Dutch, all right? And this is World War I, so Dutch, and this is key to her story. Because she has Dutch citizenship, she's able to travel freely among warring countries. This isn't like Nazi Germany. This is World War I. There's no Axis powers. There's German. It's the Kaiser, going up against, the basically the Allies, France, Britain, those countries. But since she has Dutch citizenship, she's able to travel all over Europe, dude. And it's not known, dude. I mean, look, if I'm going to say it, little spoiler alert right ahead, maybe she wasn't entirely innocent, okay? But to me, it's going to seem pretty clear that she wasn't a master spy whose information sent thousands of soldiers to their deaths, as it's claimed. It's probably more sexual than criminal, got to say that. And honestly, it's good to be more sexual than criminal, because if you're mixing criminality and sexuality, that's a dangerous game, dude. Maybe just go to the role playing. Maybe act like you're, pulling a heist or whatever. Don't do whatever. Something bad, naughty, dude. Just consensual stuff is good, dude. Is all I'm trying to say, dude. There's obviously been a ton of elaboration about her life. 8 films have been made about her life. And now 1 podcast. Actually, probably there's other ones, but this is the only one that matters. So how does she gain notoriety? Born Margaretha Gutrida Zelle. Okay, I'm probably saying that all wrong. My Dutch isn't exactly brushed up upon, dude. Born to a well-to-do shopkeeper and his Javanese wife. Like Java, this is like Indonesia, right? Like Java Man goes way back then. One of the very first, a massive archaeological discovery, Java Man. I should do an episode on that. Homo anthropolithecus, I think, is what the Java Man was. Anyway, she finds fame in pre-war Paris. Pre-war Paris was the place to be, dude. You got bourgeois, you got bohemians, you got it all going on, dude. She takes a stage name, Matahari, which means Eye of Dawn in Indonesian, or sunrise. She goes to the French capital with her sultry performances, and she creates this character, this Javanese princess who often danced naked. And she quickly becomes notorious for these dances, but also famous, her neurotic dancing. I mean, basically, bro, she has a OnlyFans before OnlyFans existed. Some people everyone has to say it's all bad and stuff, but yet she's famous and tons of people are going to watch. More on this to come. First, a little more about her background. So, before she becomes Matahari, she's Margaretha Zelle. She escapes this abusive early marriage to a military officer in the Dutch East Indies, dude, prior to moving to Paris. And she marries this guy, Captain Rudolph McLeod, and he's a freaking schmoll, dude. He's an officer in the Dutch colonial army. He was, according to a lot of reports, he's abusive. And then he also gives her syphilis, dude, which, you know, I feel like that's something that you have. So it's like, hey, we should have probably communicated about that. I think I'm not going out on a limb saying, hey, not a cool move, dude. From 1897 to 1902, they live in Java and Sumatra. They have 2 children. One of them dies. They say, oh, the nanny poisoned the kid. But really what it was the schmoll husband who gave Matahari syphilis. The child probably contracted that, and they used to treat syphilis with mercury. So the kid probably died of mercury poisoning. So it wasn't like there was like this evil nanny out to like murder a kid. It was like, no, they had no idea. This kid is born with syphilis. They're treating it with mercury. Mercury is poisonous. You know, one thing leads to another, and it's tragic. Anyway, things are bad. They return to Europe. The couple separates. They finally divorce in 1906. She gains sole custody of the daughter. Rudolph the schmoll McLeod refuses to provide financial assistance and forcing her to leave the child in his care. So basically they're like, oh, you know, she was like kind of given grief throughout her life for like abandoning her daughter and stuff. But it wasn't exactly by her choice. So she's taken on many lovers. This is something that she likes. Okay, she likes to get some. All right? And, you know, sounds like she's got the means to do this. You know, she's a great dancer, like I mentioned, and she's supposed to be a worldly beauty. Okay, a worldly beauty. So one of her lovers, dude, which is such a chill phrase to have, suggests, hey, you should become a dancer. You move well. And they don't say who this guy is, but that's a cool ass guy. Any guy, dude, I'm just picturing there's like French doors are on a balcony. The screens are blowing up and this dude's just posting up, smoking a cigar, being like, dude, bro, you should just be a dancer, you know, which is so freaking chill, dude. And she's like, okay. She reinvents herself. And it's a Malay word, excuse me, not an Indonesian word, for eye of the day or sunrise. Matahari, she takes this name, claims she's being a princess. I mean, this is branding 101, dude. She's like, this is what people move to Hollywood to do on Instagram and stuff. They'll take new identities, change their names, brand. She has a brand, dude, okay? 100 years before that became like the thing to do for everyone online. She does these dances, you know, in Paris. And to get around prudish sensibilities, dude, you know, her tantalizing and scintillating. Is that a rule? I wish it. Is that a word? I wish it was.
Yes, it is.
Scintillating routines. Okay. She goes. These are religious dancers. Religious dances performed in Javanese temples. And then she gets naked, and then dudes have boners, and they're like, "Oh, babe, it's for education. Babe, I'm getting cultured. You didn't know this? I like my dick loves culture. Don't you know that?" It's like all these guys. Technically, we're reading a book. It's a pop-up book, but I'm learning. Honey, I'm learning. Honey, I'm going alone next week. Just stay home. You're ruining the show. So she's basically crushing it on Instagram. Absolutely crushing it. Huge audience, huge following. People travel to Paris to see her dance. She crushes it. Okay? She's famous. She's known around Europe. So you're probably going in your dome right now. Then how the hell is she a spy? Everyone knows her face. Maybe it's smart to be able to hide in plain sight. Also, like I mentioned earlier, she's got that Dutch passport. Oh, the Dutch passport. Yeah, good. Okay? Her extravagant lifestyle, traveling all around like this, makes it seem okay to travel. So she's famous. She's performing these educational dances leading all the way up to World War I and during World War I. So while in Hague, I don't know what the hell city that is. somewhere in Germany, she's approached by a German diplomat. He offers her a large sum of money, and equivalent to like what would be 61,000 bones, to spy for Germany. And she's like, well, you know, at this point, her career, she's been dancing for a while. She's kind of, you know, she's in her mid-30s, getting a little bit older, dude. You know, I don't know how, if OnlyFans people are into the mature stuff back. I don't know how, if people are as readily into the mature stuff as they are these days on the websites, but she's reaching that sort of status. Also, you know, you're 40, the hips aren't as loose as they used to be, you know, and maybe she wants to chill a little bit. So she's like, hey, all right, she accepts the money. And in her mind, she's saying, and it's tough to say this, to say, hey, what's going on in someone's mind? But she knows there is journaling, and I'll do some of her quotes later. But she says she's taking this money as reimbursement for personal items that were confiscated by Germany when the war began. So she's like, yeah, I'll spy for you. But she never really had any intent on spying or like giving any useful information. Also, she's like, what information am I really going to get? You know? But the German officer was like, you are hot. You probably sleep with a lot of French and British officers. You sleep with the men, right? You do the sexy dance, so you definitely probably sleep with the man. When you sleep with the man, ask you questions, and you give me the information from the questions, right? She's like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. But takes the dough, right? This is going to come back and bite her. She comes back to Paris, and because of all this traveling, she attracts the attention, and she's already famous, of this guy who has turned out later to be a definitive schmoll, dude. This guy named Jorge Ledoux. Georges Ledoux? Is it just George, dude, in French?
Probably Georges.
That's it. Georges Ledoux. He's a French counter-espionage chief, dude. He puts her under surveillance, dude. Couldn't find any evidence of her spying. So in 1916... so this is a year later, so she was 39, now she's 40. Career winding down, like I mentioned, prospects dwindling. She falls in love with a Russian officer, Vladimir Damaslov. She settles for this guy. Kidding, I don't know that. She might have been madly in love with him, I don't know. Anyway, he's wounded on the front. Mata Hari approaches the War Department for a travel permit. She's in France at this time, doing her shows and stuff. And this guy, Ledoux, Schmoll, he goes, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to approve your travels, but I could sweeten the deal. I will approve your travels and give you some money if you go and just do a little spying on Germany while you're on your trip. Let us know. Mata Hari doesn't make the best choice in the world. She does agree to spy for France without telling the schmoll Ledoux that she was already quote-unquote spying for Germany, even though, according to her own accounts and stuff, there was never really, and, you know, they have the German accounts as well, never really any too useful of information. So is she making the best choices by accepting money from two warring countries and getting caught and tying herself into this? No. But look, dude, Aaron, I've seen people make worse decisions, dude, in a relationship. I have, dude. My boy Connor did. One time he followed his GF on the road. She was a professional wakeboarder. He followed her on the wakeboarding circuit, dude. Freaking lake to lake, dude. And let's just say he wasn't the first mate on a lot of the boats that he got on, dude. I'm saying he got cucked, dude. The thing is, though, he loved it, bro. He got too fired up and loved it so much that it changed the dynamic. Jackie was like, I'm not into this. Dude, the dude started soliciting every dude who could get outside the wake to get inside of his GF, dude. She's like, look, that's not how this goes. You know, I like to pick the guys, and then you don't get to bust. And he was just busting too happily, dude, too readily. So in any case, that relationship didn't work out, but Connor's doing well now. He lives in Des Moines. He's getting cucked by his wife, Britt, out there. He works selling sheet metals and does well for himself. But in any case, people don't make good calls. It wasn't a good call for my boy Connor to go out and talk to every bro on the circuit and say that his then GF Jackie was down. She wasn't down. She was down on her terms. And Mata Hari didn't make a good choice by being like, hey, yeah, I'll accept money from the German government to not spy. And then I'll accept money from the French government to, like, not spy either, but say I will. So, turns out, according to Ledoux's notes, it's not totally confirmed, but he possibly was just hoping to ensnare her See, because he gave her no instruction on who he should target. He's like, just, yeah, go ahead and do stuff. You'll be a source. So I think both Germany and France were trying to find out if she was a spy for the other, and they were both actually correct. The thing was, though, she wasn't really doing anything. And in fact, she was being such a bad spy that she was telegramming Ledoux openly, being like, hey, pay me for my spy stuff. Which everyone's reading these like telegrams, demanding payment for like her espionage, which like you wouldn't do, you know, if you were actually working for like MI6 or whatever, bro, even though that wasn't established at the time. So she's traveling around it, and British authorities, they detain her while she's traveling from Spain to the Netherlands. And, you know, she's bouncing around it. Harsh interrogation. She reveals she's been hired by Ledoux. Ledoux betrayed her, telling the British he had only hired her to root out her work as a German spy. Mata Hari is then deported to Spain, where she then begins a romantic relationship with both German and French military officers. It's a great part of this story. She has a romantic relationship with every part of the equation. Every city she goes to, dude, just really living that legit bachelorette lifestyle, dude, which you gotta love. But you know what? She earned it, dude. With her first husband, he was a schmoll, dude, and you know what? She never got to make it to Russia to see the husband that she loved, which is why I was kind of questioned, because now, you know, she's like, look, I'll probably never see that guy again. I wanted to marry him, but I don't think it's going to happen now. And, you know, I don't know if his dong got blown off. I don't know if he recovered, but all I know is no matter what, it wasn't destined to be because of what's going to happen to Mata Hari. Sick ass rhyme by me. Can't you see? Okay. So she's got more romantic relationships going on. In these relationships, she does a little spying on her own accord, and she learns that German's planning to land in Morocco from one of her paramours, right? One of her lovers. She tries to get the word to Ledoux. So at this point, she knows she's in a little bit of trouble, and she's like, look, I'm going to try to help you out. And here's the thing. She's trying to help France. She doesn't want the fascists to win, dude. She's avant-garde, dude. She's out there doing nude, legit dances, dude. She's doing character work, bro. Okay? She's unaware Ledoux secretly monitoring her radio comms between Madrid and Berlin in hopes of gathering proof of double dealing. He uses these messages, he claims, to implicate Mata Hari, even though she's trying to help him. Others believe, here's a theory, historians believe that Germans, unhappy with her lack of intelligence gathering, which rightfully so, you know, she didn't really do any intelligence gathering, sent fake messages in her name to make sure she got ensnared. They're like, you know what? Fuck this, dude. Like, she's not doing anything. We're gonna burn her. You know, that's what they call like burning a spy, like a burn nose. Like, let's let her know. Let's let the French know she's one of ours. Retribution, bro. So, sadly, the original version of these comms have been lost. The only existing evidence, and here's why this guy Ledoux is such a schmoll, personally translated messages from German to French from him, right? Also, what's amazing in all of this is how many languages everyone's able to speak. It's very amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. A lot of people speaking the language of love. Maybe a little bit of that language of lust. Either way, I know that they're rolling their R's. Blah, 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 blah. Tell you that. So, she gets arrested by Ledoux, charged as a double agent, released. Circumstantial evidence. So she's released, right? She's out doing her own thing, chilling at this point. Then we'll get back into what happens. But first, got to remind you guys about the past. Like a few decades ago, when private citizens used to be that private. And what's changed this? The internet. Think about everything you've browsed and searched for, watched or tweeted, put on Instagram, whatever it is, whatever you've done. Now imagine all that data being crawled through, collected, and aggregated by third parties into a permanent public record. Your record. Okay? No one wants their private life exposed. Okay? No one wants that. But in an era where everyone's online, everyone is a public figure. Okay? So to keep my data private, when I go online, I turned to ExpressVPN. So you got to protect yourself against data brokers. Did you know there's hundreds of data brokers out there whose sole business is to buy and sell your data? And they don't even have to tell you. That's the worst part. They don't even need your consent, dude. So you got to protect yourself, dude. And one of these data points is your IP address. They use your IP to harvest and uniquely identify you and your location. I don't like that. Sounds scary, dude. But with ExpressVPN, my connection gets routed through an encrypted server, and my IP address is masked. I love it, dude. That's what I like. And the reason I use it is because I want to be the one in control of my story and narrative and whatever I'm doing. It's up to me. No one needs to know, that I'm journaling. Okay, even though I'll gladly say that, but it's my choice to say that, not data miners' choices. So I love it. And what I also love is because I'm not a very tech savvy guy. The best part about ExpressVPN, it's easy to use, dude. No matter what device you're on, phone, laptop, smart TV, all you have to do is tap one button to get protected. I love that. Easy to use. Know I'm safe. So if, like me, you believe that your data is your business, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN on the market. Visit expressvpn.com/dank and get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn/dank, expressvpn.com/dank. Go to expressvpn.com/dank to learn more. It's wedding season, dude. That's right. Just had my wedding. You better believe that, dude. And every weekend seems to be booked with engagement brunches, rehearsal dinners, and stressful ceremonies. So take a second to chill out without being so high when you fumble the freaking big toast, dude. If you got to give one, if you're a best man, or you got to say those I do's and you go, I don't want to be stumbling there. Dadgrass can help you chill out and get you in a euphoric mood while you're keeping your head clear. You better believe after I tied the knot, dude, and friggin' just watched Air Force One, dude. Me and my wife watching Air Force One on our wedding night in the hotel. What a beautiful, beautiful. That's how you consummate the bond, dude. Just legit, dude. So fired up on that. You better believe I had a little pre-roll. I'm all about those pre-rolls, dude. Celebrate it with the frickin' groomsmen, dude. Playing a little pre-wedding golf out there on the G course, dude. Enjoying those dadgrass pre-rolls, dude. Low THC, high CBD. Enjoy the effects of cannabis while keeping a clear head. 100% organic pre-rolled, by the way. Love that, dude. By the way, all Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the USA, and it's TSA approved. So whether you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy an old favorite, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric mood. I'm loving it, dude. Get there. Get it. It's wedding season, dude. It's Dadgrass season, dude. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/dank. Go to dadgrass.com/dank for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/dank. All right, let's learn a little bit more about Mata Hari now. Turns out, and this is a huge question right now too, Mata Hari sort of, I did answer this question. Her Dutch passport, her fame, it's sort of the best hiding places to hide in plain sight. Last one to expect is an exotic dancer doing these things. She's going around, she's out in plain sight, truly exposed. So no one would think she's a spy. Funny enough, both sides had the same idea. She accepts the money. We try to put a little perspective on that, saying she accepts the money because she believes she's owed it by the Germans. And then, later on, like I mentioned, she's getting a little bit older. Her prospects are aging a little bit. Her prospects are dwindling a little bit. So she accepts the French money. Then this guy, Ledoux, ends up wanting to arrest her. He does, then releases her. There's not really factual evidence. But then in 1916, a little bit later on, they decide to go after her again. And the theory here is that France had a bad outing in this war. And in World War I, if you're not too familiar, technology's advanced beyond tactics. I mean, it's a bloodbath. There's the no man land. It's basically a battle for inches and yards. You go a few yards this way and you sacrifice tens of thousands of lives. Just brutal warfare.
It's a war of attrition.
Exactly right. And the French were getting worked. And there's a theory that they needed a morale boost. And who better than to blame a scandalous woman whose morality these uptight, prudish people who still went to her shows don't like. They go, oh, easy finger to blame. Let's say that it's not our generals' faults. It's not our male leaders' faults or any of our leaders' faults for bad tactics or just the, overall, like I mentioned, lack of strategy in this war. It's not that. It's this spy. She gave up our guys to the Germans, gave them an unfair advantage. Yep, it's Mata Hari's fault. So, yeah, dude, and that's what I'm talking about right now, dude. That's the Javanese princess, dude. Love that, Aaron. If those listening, Aaron put up a good picture on the pod. Great costuming, great character work. I mean, yeah, dude.
She looks a lot like my high school girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't even have a high school girlfriend. Just Pamela and Angela, dude. Friggin' Angela myself. Maybe that's too prudish to say. Sorry, I should dial it back. Sometimes, here's the thing. I don't edit stuff on here, but sometimes I'll self-edit in the moment. I'm glad I caught myself there. Because of these setbacks, Ledoux, the schmoll, arrests her again, right? They go, hey, look, you've already invented a character. You're not a Javanese princess. So you're into inventing stuff. You're inventing being loyal to us, the French people. You're inventing this other stuff. You've also had tons of husbands. You were divorced. You've dated a lot of military personnel, including husbands and their sons. Ooh, taboo. We don't like that. You're up to no good.
You also might be spreading syphilis.
You also are guaranteed spreading syphilis for sure.
I think it's a situation where if you have an outbreak, you can't. You got to keep it to yourself.
That sounds right to me. Anytime there's an outbreak, just, stay at home, watch the movie Outbreak. Just chill. Read a book. She's called into question, this guy, this prosecutor, Pierre Duchardon, dude. And the tough part is there's a paper trail of her accepting the money and then requesting money from France. The Germans are happily able to be like, yeah, at this point, whatever, dude. Here's, like we mentioned earlier, potentially the Germans gave her up on purpose. So they have a little bit of a paper trail there. And then now they're just being like, oh no, with your character work and who you slept with and all that, like, no, we want you. We're going to put you on trial, harsh interrogation. She spins tales. They say her character work is like her spinning tales. Sonny, leave it. Chill. Dude, got to do a little dog coaching on the pod right now, dude. Been training, dude, with our trainer, dude. Legit. So at her trial, prosecutor claimed that the intelligence she delivered was directly responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Allied soldiers, but they were not actually able to present any direct evidence of her spying. They were able to get, the transactionary stuff, but nothing like that. And they just go, oh, because of your lack of morals as evidence of low character, you do something like this. Basically, that's the trial. She has an all-male tribunal, convicted her in just 45 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah. She is then executed by firing squad on July 25th, 1917. And let's see here. But there's such limited facts. In fact, I pulled up this little article here, CIA article, dude. Legit, dude. What up? Basically just pointing out like the only facts that they have. Her only effort was in Madrid when she was working with the French. She seduced this military German attaché and spent 3 affectionate afternoons with him in bed. Love that, dude. Only information she got was stale and sort of inaccurate. Other facts, she accepted the money from German intelligence. At her secret trial, the French refused to let her Mata Hari call 2 witnesses who would have proved her not guilty. So they didn't even let her call her own witnesses on her quote-unquote quote trial. So she was super unfair. Basically, she was a scapegoat for inept generals. Her fame was deliberately abated by the Germans who thought she had cheated them. So they sent messages in code they knew the French had broken. So that's confirmed. The French lure Matahari into espionage with promises of high pay if she could seduce German general commanding occupation forces in Belgium. And she needed money for her lover at the time, the 21-year-old Russian captain, which I also love that he was younger, and he was dealing with blindness from mustard gas. She was executed at 41 by firing squad. And I mean, that's about it. Like, other than that, everything else is just speculative. I want to go to some of her quotes, end with some quotes from her diary. Let's see what we got here. But it's just crazy, dude, isn't that? She's got some good stuff. The dance is a poem of which each movement is a word. I love that. Death is nothing, nor life either, for that matter. To die, to sleep, to pass into nothingness, what does it matter? Everything is an illusion. Sounds like those were some words after her arrest. I had long since lost any illusion of being loved for who I was, and now accept it with clean conscience, flowers, flattery, and money that fed my ego and my false identity. So, you know, maybe she was aware or unaware. Maybe, you know, she did. The only actual circumstantial evidence of her doing any sort of espionage was in Madrid, but these claims that, oh, the world's best spy, or maybe she is the world's most famous. The best spy is probably one that's never got caught. They're probably just hanging out, chilling right now, you know, playing slots at a casino, retired. But, you know, definitely I think we can say she got in over her head here. And sadly, hopefully the governments would have just left her alone, but they made her a scapegoat, you know, which is just super, super freaking whack and super, super freaking unchill, dude. So, you know, it's just a huge bummer, man. And that's about it, dude. Hate to end on a bummer note. I mean, to get a more stoked note, I'll just say, you know, do a sexy dance for someone. Maybe your siggo, your loved one. You know, I like to do a sexy dance. I don't exactly move well. I kind of move. What I sort of do when I do a sexy dance is just my stretch routine before I work out. Stretch the hip flexors and just sort of do that to some Cisco. I think that's a good ass call. I think do something like that. But if you are a good dancer, you know, move that midsection well, that belly dance. And if you can do that, then you're really looking good, dude. Then you're really feeling right, feeling tight. So I'd get into that, dude. And other than that, just I'm freaking stoked, and freaking stay stoked. Check out the Patreon. Check out, you know, the Hug Your Bros. I got that going. Check that out. TikTok, Instagram. Do what you do, dude. Keep being freaking beasts. Give me some writings, dude. I want to do some more cues. And that's about it. Catch you guys on the next one, dude. Lay it.